Wouldn't it be great to display sheet music in a resizable, zoomable, or even in multiple windows? You can place those windows here on a second screen, or if you're using a newer iPad with a sidecar with Mac OS, you can shoot that over there as well. So you have this resizable window, and you can see I set up some automations here to change two different sheets or music scores. In this case, we got some drum scores here, which are automatically changing. So this is a Max for Live device, or this is a collection of Max for Live devices. So you would need Max for Live, which is included in Ableton Live Suite, or can be bought as an add-on to make this working. You need to get and to buy my Max for Live device pack, the sheet music display pack here. Just follow the links in the video description, and then you're ready to go. This would work with Ableton Live Suite 10 and 11 and 12. If you're using 10 or 11, make sure to have the newest Max for Live version installed. If you have the latest 11 version, should be fine. On 10, you would need to manually install Max for Live to the newest version, which is really easy to do, and you will find a link on the product page for that as well. So let me show you how you can set this up. So you got you can set up several devices which will connect to a folder, to your hard drive where you have your sheet music in here. Very important, you can only use JPEG files or PNG files. Okay, so this is really important. You can't import PDF files here, which is a little bit of a tricky thing because most music scores, the normal format here is PDF, but you can just quickly do a bulk conversion online. There are some tools. I have one link here as well on the product page, on the info product page here, where you will find an online platform where you can just upload your PDF or even your PDFs, and it will spit them out in JPEG or PNG if you like. So the conversion is done quick, and then once you got JPEG or PNG files, you are able to load those into those devices here. And those we can see here. For example, I have the Can't Stop in here, and this is all the pages from the folder here, and I have a second device here where I have a second song, A Message to You, Rudy, in here. So let us set this up from the beginning, and I would say we go to Session View. You can use this in Arrangement View or in Session View in Ableton Live, depending what you want to do. But maybe let's set this up first in Session View, because that makes things maybe a little bit more easier to understand the concept here at the beginning. So as I said, you have two different devices here. So the sheet music pick version 2 device here, and I can now load in some stuff in here. So I'm connecting this to a folder where I have my JPEG or PNG files in here. So let's say we gonna select this whatever, let's say Can't Stop, and I just hit open. So I just hit on load folder, the thing here opens, the Finder in OS or on Windows, and then I have this one connected, and I can now, you can see, I can now open up and see what scores do I got in here. So you can have up to 127 music scores in here, in one folder, in one device, being connected to that. So if you want to load in more here, you can do this if you have like set 1 or set 2. And then you have this menu here where you can select the different pages and different slots where you've got pages in here. And obviously this one device is not going to show anything, it's just going to make the connection. One really important thing here as well, this device will remember the file path to your folder. So if we have a look here again, so this folder here is now, the file path of this folder is now being stored in the device. So this needs to be there and the file folder structure needs to stay the same. So you should match up things when you have a location for all your drum sheets or your music scores somewhere safe, and you're not going to move those from this place, because then the path is going to change. It's going to sit somewhere else on your computer, and this device can't recall this path here. Okay, so you can obviously quickly reset this path, load this folder in there again, so that's possible obviously, but just to make things nice, have a dedicated location where you're gonna keep your music scores if you're using this technique I'm showing you here. Okay, so now we have this loaded in here, and we need a second device now, which is the sheet music display. So you can drag and drop this on the same track here, for example, and we can even have multiple devices. So that means if we have two of those now here, they can sit at different locations on your big screen or on a second screen, or if you're using an iPad with Sidecar or connect this the other way, you can have multiple of those and they will all listen to what sheet you are picking. So if we pick a different sheet here, you can see they are both changing. So let's keep only one for now, so it's a little bit more easier to follow. So maybe let's even keep this here. Make this a little bit bigger. I can save the position, so the position will get recalled when I open up this Ableton Live set. If you're using a second screen, then sometimes you need to put it on the position there manually. It's just depending on your OS and if the position gets recalled fine when you're using a second screen here. Okay, so now we obviously want to set up some automations here or want to control some things. And as you can see, we got some buttons down below here where we can scroll through the different pages here, previous, next, first. Obviously those can be MIDI mapped or key mapped, or you can send in a direct MIDI note pitch if you want to jump to certain pages just by hitting a pad or putting in a MIDI note. That would be possible here as well. But what I want to show you and what I want to focus on, or what I propose, is probably the most used thing here. You don't want to switch manually, you want to switch automatically, and you can just automate this changes of this menu here. So you can automate how to select a different page here. Okay, so maybe let's name this device first, because this will help us when we go and when we have multiple devices of those. Again, you can load up to 127 pages in here if you want to, but it makes a little bit more sense maybe to have like not a huge set of things in here. And for showing purposes, I'm going to show you this on a one song in one device base here. So just that it makes sense if you have multiple devices with multiple folders connected here. Okay, so first we want to create an empty MIDI clip. We are on a MIDI track here anyways, because those devices need to sit on a MIDI track. So I just double click on an empty clip slot, which creates an empty MIDI clip here. And now let me move this up a little. Now I go to the envelope section here, which looks a little bit different in Ableton Live 12 than it does look in 9, 10 or 11, 10 or 11 actually. And I can select the device, which I got the music scores hosted in here, which is can't stop. And then I have the slides pick menu, which is the menu, this menu here, yeah, where I'm picking stuff. Okay, so always when I'm starting out with a new device, let's say this is the start of the set, I want to make sure that I set the first breakpoint to be on start. So breakpoints are points on those red lines here. I hope you can see that quite well. If I'm going over that line, it's changing from a dotted line to a full line, and I can now click on this line and I created a breakpoint. So this breakpoint now can be set anywhere For example, it will snap to the grid I currently have, but if I press Command, I can move this freely, and I want to move this right at the beginning because it tells the device you are active now. That's a start. And then I do another breakpoint here. Just click on the line, and I want to set this to 1. Okay, so this because we got 127 steps here, actually 128 with the start. This sometimes works okay with setting this up via mouse or via trackpad. It actually works quite nice on a trackpad. So if I now select this and move my mouse up, you can see that I'm having some difficulties here to get to number 1. I want to set this to 1. So I can as well right click on this breakpoint, set added value, and now I can type in the value I want. And the funny thing here is, for the first breakpoint always, it's going back to start and not to 1. So I have to do this twice. And it's do this once more. There we go. It's going back to always going back to start. So I set this manually to 1. Okay, so this is for the first one. Don't ask me why that's happening. That must be a bug in Ableton, I don't know. But this is what you need to set here first, and then this will select page 1. Okay, so if we go over there, if I play the MIDI clip, we can see page 1 is gonna be selected. Okay, so let's set up a few more breakpoints here just for showing purposes. The added value will work now. 2. I can set in the value here. So this is a little bit funny, but if you know how to work with it, that's all fine. So it works if I move it, added value, put in the number. That is so funny here. Okay, so I have to set this manually here as well. Don't ask me why this is happening. It doesn't make sense to me. But so that you know, this might be an issue you run into if you want to set a create value here. Let's set a value, don't know, whatever, 120. That works now. Okay, so if you can't set it via the edit value function, you just have to drag it to the position here. That works as well. And you can even now copy those automations in this envelope here and set those over if you need to. Okay, so this shouldn't be an issue for you. So we have now those changes here. Maybe let's make this bar a little bit shorter so we can see when we're getting over this breakpoint here, the score is changing. The music sheet music display here is changing and selecting the different slides we got in this first device. Okay, so now we want to set up a second device. So maybe let's keep things clean and tidy, and let's call this can't stop this clip as well. You can always right click on kind of a lot of objects in Ableton Live, but on this clip you can right click and you got the rename function here, or Command R as a shortcut. Okay, cool. So let's create a second device here which is gonna store a different song and different scores in here. So we're gonna take a fresh device here. Makes sense for Max for Live devices to take them from your user library. Obviously you stored them before in your user library when you installed them. Okay, so now we want this to be a different song. So we press on load folder, we go to the folder where we want the stuff in here. So let's take a message to you, Rudy, from the Specials, which is an excellent song. And I got this now in here. I can check this and I can always see which number I have in here if I want to refer to that. Obviously file structure here is up to you, naming convention, whatever. And we can now set this up same way with a second clip. I'm going to show you how this works in arrangement after that. So just that you know, it's working in arrangement the same way, and even arrangement could make sense a little bit better for setting up. But to show you the structure here, I think this helps a little. Okay, so now we already have an issue here because, well, not an issue, but which device do I need to select here? I didn't name the device, which makes sense. Message. So now when I go into my clip via double clicking on the clip, and if I go to the envelope section, which is here now in Ableton Live 12, I can select the right device here, which is for the right song, which is a message to you, Rudy. I set a start point at the very beginning. I can hover over to the numbers and then I get a eine Lupe in German. Not a torch. A torch is, you know what I mean. You get the symbol here and you can zoom up and down, and I will find out what this means in the end and just edit that in when I edit the video. Okay, so I can set a breakpoint here again. I go to the slides pick, which is the slides pick menu, which slide or which score I want to select. I set a breakpoint at the very beginning and I make sure I set this to start because we are changing devices now, and always when you start out with the devices it needs a start. We are changing from the first device here to the second device, and the device needs to know you are active now. Okay, so and then right after that we set a breakpoint here again and we set this to 1. Let's see if that works. And it doesn't, so we, via the edit value, so we do this via the mouse. We hold, drag, click, we click, drag. Click, drag is a term. We click on the parameter and then move it slowly up to the 1, and let's do this for 2 and 3 here as well. Maybe let's do this here. So I set a breakpoint and I move this up to 2, and I set another breakpoint and I move this up to 3. Okay, done, you know. So if you want to try out the edit value function here, good luck. But with sliding stuff here, you can see that works as well, and depending on what you're using, sometimes that can be a little bit fiddly. So let's name the clip here message to maybe. And now if I play this clip, we can see that the right scores are being selected. Obviously the score changing. I set this up a little bit faster here. The breakpoints, I mean, to show you that this is selecting the right music score and music page score here. Okay, so let's set this up in arrangement, and as the setup is the same here for the different, let me create some space here so don't need to edit my video later on. Okay, so what do we got here? We got a MIDI track, or we are using the same MIDI track here. We have those two folder devices here already, which are the sheet music pick devices here. So we have those set up already from our first step. So what we can do now is we can write automations in Ableton Live Arrangement to display those different music scores. And this can help a little because you can actually set up a tune, or you can put in, if you're doing playback stuff or playing with backing tracks, I mean, you can have the song playing here, and it's maybe a little bit easier to set the changing pages, the automated page changes here according to the music, a little bit easier because you have the timeline of the song here. So you could just import the song here on a different track and just go to the right bar, find out the right bar, and set the breakpoints here more easier, more quicker. Then you can take this clip and chuck it over to session view if you're playing live in session view. Okay, so we have 2 songs here, and we want to set up automation changes, automated page music score changes in Ableton Arrangement here. So we need to select first, let's select can't stop first, and we want to set this up here. We want to set the automation here, which you need to turn on the automation view, which is up here. Okay, or you can hit A on your computer keyboard here as well, as long as the music keyboard, MIDI keyboard is not turned on, because then the A is blocked. Anyways, if you use the mouse, you can click here, and then you go to can't stop, you go to slides pick, and now you are able to set the same here again. If we zoom in a little or a lot, set the first breakpoint here on this red line, and this is start, because we are starting with this device here, and then set the 1 here and move this to 1, and now we can see it's not that easy sometimes. Let's try the edit value. Not working, but the second time it usually works. Edit value 1. And I don't know why, maybe I don't have enough space. So let's do this a little bit different, and let's open the view for the automation line here a little bit better. Click drag on that and move it up slowly, because we have a wider range now. It's easier to pick the right number. Okay, so we have can't stop here. Page 1, let's say page 2 is maybe around here. So we set another breakpoint, move this up to 2. That works flawless and quick here. Move this up to page 3. So maybe if you want to move this breakpoint here now to the left or to the right, you can see it's always connecting to the current grid. So you could have a finer grid in the background, or you could use the command key here and go in between those points. And now I can set this down to, and there we go. And now I can set this down to 3. And now I have set this up for the first tune. If I play Ableton Live now, you can see can't stop is changing. Can't stop is changing those pages here. So let's set this up for the next tune, which would be a message to Euro-D. So there are several ways on how to get to the right automation line, because the automation line we are seeing here now is for the first device, and we want to change it on the second device. So we need to select the second device here, which is a message here, slides pick, done. So that's one way. If we go back, you can as well select the menu here. And because you selected the menu, the view of the Ableton Live arrangement here, of the automation here, is automatically changing to the last parameter you touched. Okay, so let's set this in here again. And let's get this symbol of the name I currently forgot. Set up a breakpoint here. Remember, always the first one needs to be the start section here, and we can see this is already changing to the start. Maybe zoom in a little bit more, and we set another breakpoint very close to here, and let's set this up to 1. And let's set up another one, maybe zoom out a little so we can see that we have like around 1 bar. Let's set this up to 2. So I click on the line, set a breakpoint here, and then I click on the breakpoint again, and now because I still have this clicked, I can move this up and down. And just for, I want to know if this is gonna work or not, edit value number 3, and this going back to 2 for some reason. Okay, set this up to 3, done. Okay, so now if we zoom out, we can see what's happening on our display. It's changing according to the breakpoints we set. We have 2 automation lines here where we set breakpoints up. One is for can't stop for the slides pick, for the first menu, for this menu down below here on the left, and then the next one is here, and those are on 2 different automation lines here, so we can only see one at a time. We can fold out those automations here if we need to, but to be honest, I think it helps to not have too much info being displayed here. Okay, so if you're interested in this device or other devices, I have another device for showing slides in a 4 or in a 60:9 display here as well. So a landscape thing here as well. And I have a lot of devices especially made for musicians performing live with Ableton Live, or even other performers performing live with Ableton Live if you're coming from a different art form here. So have a look in the link here in the video description. You will find links to this device and obviously to other devices here as well. As I said, I have tons of solutions made for Ableton Live, for performing live or controlling live in a different way. So I have a chatbot who you can ask about tool stuff as well, and just perform a search on my page or go to the Toby chatbot, which you will find on my homepage as well, and you can ask the chatbot stuff. Yeah, chatbot is not for everyone, but it gives you answers straight away, so that's a cool thing. Cool, take care, bye bye.